Welcome to Module 3, Advanced Modeling. Before we start working with splines, I'd like to talk semantics first. The terms shape and spline are pretty much used interchangeably, but there's an important distinction that I'd like to point out. Shapes are a category type within the program. Other examples of categories are geometry, lights, cameras, and so on. The Display tab lists a lot of the categories here. I'm using Max right now, so you'll see a few extra categories that Viz lacks. You can even add more granular categories here using this display filter. But we're getting off track. I'll go back to the Create panel and talk about shapes. There are actually several kinds of shapes. Splines are just one example. Extended splines work just the same. So they're sort of like the equivalent of extended primitives and primitives. NURBS curves are something entirely different, and we'll cover this later within this module. I'm sure you've already experimented quite a bit with the regular splines or basic splines here. And extended splines are used generally for steel cross sections. And I'll just make them for you. Now, all of these extended splines have a radius parameter that you can use optionally to create a filleted transition. And I'll show you that in a second. So down here I can just increase the corner radius and I'll get a curve happening right in there. So all of these extended splines have something in common, and that is that they're parametric splines. They're controlled by their parameters. And as such, they have a lot in common with most of the basic splines. A circle is controlled parametrically with its radius parameter, right? All of these basic splines are parametric with the exception of section, which is just a special purpose tool, and line. Now line gets closer to the heart of the matter because lines are drawn explicitly. Their form is not controlled parametrically. That's more obvious on the Modify panel because over here you'll see that there aren't convenient parameters to adjust. Rather, you have to do sub-object modeling to alter the form of a line. The terms line and spline are completely synonymous. I usually just call lines splines to simplify things.